Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to an episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and I am so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new episode for you. We have none other than a third guest interview in a row. Who would have thought we had 3 guest interviews back to back in the same week? This year's been crazy. This last 3 months have been crazy, but we have gotten some great guests lined up, and I love it. I love to be able to bring that to you, bring those guest interviews to you, because when we get those guest interviews in here, it makes the audio really good. It makes especially when we get to do them over video like this, the audio is really good, and I love just getting to hear other people's points of view, other people's where they're at in business and in life this time of year. It's crazy. Everybody's just doing different things. A lot of us are doing the same things in different ways, and so I just love getting to get out there in the community and get a feeler and just kind of hear from all the different people out there. So today we have none other than Lucas Blumling with Blumling Lawn and Landscape. I am so excited to have him on today. How you doing today, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good, Jeremiah. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, did I said Blumling right? I mean, there's only one way to say that. So
yeah, man. Honestly, you're like one of 100 people that probably get that right.
Really? What do people usually say?
Oh, you got Blooming, Plumley, Blumbling. You name it. That's my last name. So yeah,
I'm a big syllable guy. I like sounding things out and getting them right, because people call me Jeremy all the time, and I'm like, it's not like it's kind of close to Jeremy, but it's really not. And they call me Jeremy, and then they call me Jenkins, and it's like it's not it's not there. Like, you can think that in your head, it's not there though. On paper, it's not there. So I always try to sound everything out, get every syllable lined out, and do the best I can to get people's names right. But I do fail and mess up sometimes. But well, dude, kind of tell us about what you got going on, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us the backstory. Tell us about your journey in business, because it is really cool. When we had the honor to talk a couple days ago, and so I am excited to get this out there to the airwaves and let a lot of different people resonate with you and kind of just learn and grow from your story.
Yeah, Jeremiah, I just want to say thanks for letting me on, just to share my story. My name is Lucas Blumling with Blumling Lawncare. This is our 3rd year in business. We started a year after COVID, March 2021. I grew up with a family that was pretty high success in entrepreneurship, sales. They had their own business, and I saw myself doing that. I saw myself replicating that in some way, but didn't really know what that looked like. And, I fell into lawn care. Long story short, I loved it. I loved being outside. I loved, listening to podcasts, music, all that stuff. And, I loved it. I was there for 5 years. I worked at a pretty big landscaping company, lawn and landscaping company where we live in Lafayette, Indiana. We're about an hour north of Indianapolis.
You a Colts fan?
No. I like the Saints.
The Saints? That's a long way from home.
Yeah, man. We're 30 minutes from Purdue, so
okay.
Drew Brees went to Purdue, so.
Yeah, we just did that's crazy. The landscape install that we were just on for like 2 weeks that took so long. They're big Purdue fans, so they just moved down here from Indiana.
Yeah, there's some hardcore fans, man. I mean, boiler up. So, but yeah, man. I started that company. I was there for 5 years, and I was really asking myself, can I do this? Can I start a lawn care company? And I got on YouTube, and the first person that I found on YouTube, I probably typed in like how to start a lawn care company or something, random.
Yeah.
and I saw Jason Creel on there.
No way, like, Jason's the first one that came up? That's crazy.
Jason Creel, man, it was a thumbnail that said like how to make $500 a day in lawn care. And it was him sitting in his garage talking, all monotone and all that. But I loved it.
A level 2 energy.
Yeah. I could do that. I could make, $500 a day. That'd be great. And then, that led to Brian Fullerton and Keith Kelfish, listening to their podcast and YouTube. And I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
And I was just learning the game. I was learning, the business side of it and marketing and, really getting a lot of confidence. And in the last 2 years that I was at that company, I was going around telling everybody. I was telling the employees that, honestly, my managers. I was like, I'm gonna start a lawn care company one day. They're like, all right. And I was just telling everybody. I wasn't doing anything about it. I was honestly scared. I didn't have enough confidence in myself, and I'd go home. I would consume all of the, YouTube, podcasts, Instagram reels and all that. And then I wouldn't take any action. I wouldn't do anything with it. Until one day, I was working with this guy and I was telling him, I'm going to start my lawn care company one day. And he looked at me. He's like, well, then just do it. And I was like, yeah, I will. So, I started doing stuff on the side, and then, my dad one day, I was getting real tired of it. I was doing it on the side, and, I was making 2 times as much money during the week than I would, at the, my employment job. And my dad told me one day, he's like, hey, you want to go on vacation? And I was like, oh, I can't. I don't get my 1 week vacation until like June. And it was like February. He's like, what do you mean? You're going to have them tell you when you can take vacation? And I was like, I mean, that's their rules. He's like, dude, he goes, you wanted to quit, just start your own company. And I was like, all right. So that's what really pushed me to do it. Like I said, I started in 2021, into March. And first year was by myself. Second year, I hired a dude part-time that ended up being full-time. And then this year, our third year, I got a full-time guy. I got 2 or 3 part-time guys, and we're rolling, man.
Yeah, so, bursting at the seams. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I wish I would have done it sooner, but I'm glad the journey that I went on and learned. I was there for 5 years. I learned a lot. I studied a lot. YouTube videos, podcasts, you name it. I was taking in everything. I was coaching calls. Entrepreneur Academy. I was buying every resource I could, and finally one day I just got tired of being sick and tired of where I was at in life, and knew I wanted to start a business, knew I wanted to be successful, and took the next step. So here I am.
That's awesome, dude. So let's look back at actually why you were working for the other company. I'm assuming you turned into an entrepreneur in that company, because if you're going to go out and start your own company, you're probably doing pretty well inside the company you're working for. Like, you have a good work ethic. Like, all of your values that you're taking to work for yourself, you were probably giving that company. I would say most of the time. Now, that might not be the case for you, but we're going to say that it is until you say different. What did that look like? Did you learn from that a lot? Did you grow? Like, would you say it was a good decision to go work for them for a couple of years? Do you feel like you learned a lot and was able to excel in your knowledge of the actual, like, doing the work, and then you were able to learn the business on the side without you, like, it not all the pressure wasn't on you to run the business at the same time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. That's actually a good question. I definitely learned a lot. When I first started there, I never been on a lawnmower or weeded or anything like that, and like anything professional, anything like that. So, I started from ground zero. I was a weed eating guy. I was the guy who pulled weeds on Saturdays. I was the guy who cleaned up everyone's mess when they pruned. I was the guy that, sat in the back of the truck, not really knowing a lot of people. So, but yeah, I would say now looking back, I learned a lot, the good things to put into my business and the good things not to implement into my business. Like, okay, there's probably like 30 to 35 people who worked there. So, I understood company culture. I understood, hey, don't talk to the guys like this. Hey, treat the guys every once in a while. Um, I definitely learned the basics, but I learned a lot, like you said, on entrepreneur in the company. I was picking up a lot of what not to do, what I didn't like about the company. Um, and I was honestly, it was getting me in bad moods. Because I was like, if this was my company, I would do this, and I found myself stuck in the company. Um, I was, other than being a manager, I was running the best account that we had, the most profitable account that we had. Crew leader, I had two guys that were under me working with me. So unless I was a manager or owning the place, I couldn't really go anywhere
Mm.
in that company long term.
Yeah.
And the managers were, been there 10, 20 years. And um, so it was just one of them things that I was either going to be stuck there or I had to get a way out. And yeah, to answer your question, I did learn a lot. I learned, the proper way to do things. I learned, how to do it right. And then speed came instead of, I feel like if I didn't, go through all that and start my company on scratch, I would just, be going crazy about how do I get this done quick? How do I make, the most money rather than doing the job correctly and then understanding, time comes with that.
Yeah, yeah. You'd be like chasing the efficiency in the beginning, but not knowing how to actually like you do the technique the right way. You just want to run through everything. No, I totally get that. It's a cool take on things. It's a different way to look at it. What kept you there 5 years? Let's talk about that for a minute. What were the good things in that company from an employee side of view that kept you there for 5 years? And the reason I want to say that is this is a little different route than I was planning on going, but we can go here and move on in a minute. When you say what kept you there, the second part is like, what can other business owners do that you seem to see work keep guys around? Like, what made culture good? Because like you said, 35, 40 people, like that's a large company. That's a lot of people to manage, a lot of people to keep up with, a lot of people to keep happy. And the fact that you were there for 5 years is something was like, they probably had their flaws for sure, but they were doing something right. Speak to that as much as you want to, and kind of just like give some advice to guys that are hiring guys. They're turning into employers, and that the importance of what it takes to keep good employees around.
Yeah. So, the first part of that, I grew up playing sports my entire life, and I grew up around a team, and the importance of having a team, and I liked being around good teammates, and I understood that that's what made a team good, was great guys around you, and that's what we had. Um, Not everyone was my friend or whatever, but I had a good 5 to 8 guys that, I mean, we just loved what we did. We loved mowing. We loved being out there with each other, and just in the heat, just getting it, and um, they had a couple good managers that would get on our level, instead of, he understood how it was in the field, right? He wasn't a guy that would have these unrealistic expectations like, hey, we need to get all this done today, and we're like, what are you talking about? There's no way we're going to get this done. It was good. What do you say? It was good. It was a cordial communication with our manager, our mowing manager. And that's what kept me to like the place. But to be honest with you, the reason why I stayed there for 5 years was because I was scared to leave. It was more of, I wanted to leave, and it wasn't like I need to get out of here, but it was more of me like, I wanna excel, I wanna move on, I wanna create my own business, but I was scared. Um, I had a young daughter at the time, and I didn't want to fail. And I just, I grew up with business people around me, family members. My dad was a, high achieving insurance agent. My other uncle has his own graphic design business. And I was like, I want to own my own company one day. And I mean, that's the truthful answer. I was scared to leave because of the paycheck. I wasn't making the best money, but I felt like I needed to stay there almost. But I took from them, like little incentives, right? So, pizza parties or, breakfast in the morning. They would do like winter, like Christmas parties where everyone would get, a gift card to whatever and have a nice party. So that's what I took. My company is obviously not as big as that. Nor do I really want a company as big as that. Maybe about 5 to 7 guys max, but that's exactly what I would do is for my company. And any advice for anyone else that's wanting to grow a multi-crew company is just little incentives for the guys, like to make them want to work, make them feel like they want to come to work and feel good about what they do and be appreciated. So
that's good. Why speak to being scared? And the reason I say that is there's a lot of guys that are probably in your position that are listening to the show right now who are trying to get the boat close to the dock. It's kind of in between. They're still working a full-time job. They're doing it part-time, but they don't know how to make the jump. It sounds like you went all in from the get-go. But
yeah, what
was that process like being scared? What was running through your head on the day-to-day? What was holding you back? And then what was the switch that flipped, aside from that vacation story? Or was that it? That was just like, hey, I'm doing this thing.
This is your invitation to Lawncare Academy Live 2023 in Novi, Michigan, Saturday, November 11th. The lineup is power-packed. You won't want to miss it. Learn from incredible speakers like Leroy Maines, Keith Kalfas, Caleb and Brittany Allman, Sam Gimbel, Weston Zimmerman, and Jeff Joyner, just to name a few. Tickets are on sale now at the early bird registration price of $197. And hurry, because seating is limited to just 300. Now through August 31st, purchase the whole ball of wax and receive a free ticket to LAL 2023, a $200 value. Once you purchase your ticket, you'll be added to our private Facebook group where you can network with other attendees, get access to the discounted hotel room block, and get the inside scoop for the Friday night party, brought to you by Kohler. Thank you to this year's sponsors, Xmark, Sure Track Trailers, Yard Book, and Boss Snowplow for helping to bring this incredible event to life. We can't wait to see you November 11th, Novi, Michigan, at Lawncare Academy Live 2023. Get your ticket today at lawntrepreneur.academy.com or use the link in the podcast description. Lawncare Academy Live.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just needed somebody to tell me to get going. I didn't have self-confidence back then. I thought I did, and it was just one of them things where you look back and you're like, man, I was so immature. I had such an immature mindset back then. What I was doing was I was feeding myself what I needed to do, but I wasn't taking action. And that's what, if you were to tell me what's the advice that I would give to somebody right now that, is in my position or about to start a company and haven't done it yet. I would just say take action. Move forward, and moving forward, anything is better than nothing. I mean, I truly was. I was truly scared. I mean, I would tell myself, you're going to own a company. You're going to do this. You're going to, you can do this. And I knew, to be honest with you, I knew guys that didn't really know as much knowledge as me about the industry that had their own companies, that were solo operators, and they had their own company, and they were creating their own schedule. They were, living the high life is what I thought they were doing from afar. And I just, to be honest, I mean, like I said, I just didn't have any self-confidence. But what I would just advise is just take that next step, take that action, and just tell yourself that you can do it, because you can do it, and go for it. It's very hard. It's very do I do it? Do I not? What happens if you do? What happens if you don't? And I told myself, what happens if I don't do this? And I'm here 20 years. And I look back, and I'm 36. I'm 27 right now. So 3 years ago, 24, I'm 45 years old. There was 45-year-olds that were working at that company that I was at. And I would look at them and think, like, that's going to be me. Nothing, they probably love their job, or they don't. But, that's going to be me if I don't do this. And I'm going to have to be happy with that, because I didn't make the decision. And, that's pretty much what did it. Is I told myself, what happens if I don't do this? And when I told myself that, and when, my dad told me, about the whole vacation, he's like, well, just quit. He told me, he's like, well, just, not quit. I gave him like a 3-week notice. I had high respect for, the owner and the managers and whatnot. So, and they did as me. I mean, we honestly, like, I subcontract out for them for snow removal and stuff. So we still stay in contact, but I gave them a 3-week notice, and that's pretty much what did it. And I went on vacation. I had like 9 to 12 mowing accounts on the side before I quit. And I went on that week-long vacation to Florida with my family, and I came home on that Monday. Instead of going to work for another company, that was the first day of my Blumling Lawncare. So
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so encouraging. It's so encouraging to hear that. And that's a very powerful statement, is what happens if I don't do this? It's not the question of what if I do. It's what if I don't? Where will I be in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years? Or 1 year, like year over year, what are you doing? Is your business changing? Is your life changing? Are you in the same spot for the last 3 years? Are you doing the exact same thing every single day? That is one way to kind of evaluate your life and see kind of where you're at and where you progressed. So where'd you go on vacation in Florida?
We went to Destin, Florida.
Destin's a good spot. Destin, we go to Destin decent amount, not as much as we go to Panama City a lot. But Destin's
that's right. That's where I grew up going on spring break.
Panama City?
Yeah.
Oh, you were a wild one then. If you go to Panama City on spring break, I know what you're doing in Panama City on spring break. So nothing good happens in Panama City on spring break. It's a wild city, but those are some of the prettiest beaches there are. We're blessed to be able to be pretty close to them. Do y'all come down here like once a year, anything on vacation anymore, or no?
When I grew up, I would go to Panama City every year with my family up until when I was a senior in high school. But no, I mean, ever since high school, we went to Destin, Florida with the family, 3 years ago. And I just got married in July.
Yeah.
So I haven't really went on a bunch of vacations, honestly, man. We went to I never been out of the country until then, for the honeymoon. We went to Punta Cana in Dominican Republic, so that was pretty nice.
In the middle of July, that's tough.
It was hot.
Yeah,
hot and windy.
Hot and windy. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations on getting married in the summertime, just very recently.
Yeah.
So, what does that kind of look like? How long have y'all been dating? Been together since have you been dating since the business started? Did she come along after the business was started? And if so, what does that kind of look like, bringing that home every day? Because I know you said she had another career of her own, but just kind of tell us some of that. I mean, I love hearing the husband-wife side of you, point of view and side of things about how that jives in your marriage. So how's it worked for y'all?
Yeah, so we've probably been together a little over 4 years, or 4-year mark. Dating or whatnot. But no, I was dating her when I was still at that other company. And she went to school to be a teacher. Then didn't really end up wanting to do that. Floated job to job, and then I started the company. And the lady who sold us our first house asked her, hey, you want to? I feel like you'd be do pretty good in real estate. And she's like, I've never done that before, but all right. And they saw something in her because, dude, she's killing it. She's a buyer's agent um, in our town here and for this real estate company. And, dude, she's killing it. But, yeah, I mean, to, we both at the beginning, not going to lie, we both didn't really know how to handle the stress personally, right? So I didn't, I started the company when she, was still in school or whatever, and I would come home and not know how to handle it to her, right? So, I'm telling her all this stuff, and I gotta do this, I gotta do that, like the marketing, this, the marketing. And she's like, I have no idea what you're saying, but yeah, go ahead. And then, that kind of cooled off. I understood how to bring stress home and not what to do, what not to do. And of course, we still make those mistakes. But then she got into her, high level job with real estate. Real estate agents are 24/7, dude. They're a different breed. So, her first year, she was coming home and, blah, 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 blah. And it took us a good 4 to 6 months to really get in the groove of things. But I mean, she's a killer, man. I love her to death. I think that's huge on just in general for relationships. If you're gonna be an entrepreneur, both of us are entrepreneurs. But if one person's entrepreneur in the household, the other person's got to understand. It's not a 9 to 5. We're out late, we're up early, we're stressed, we're tired. It's not normal life, and it's got to be communicated. I think the communication between us has been very good. Obviously, we have our days, but that's everybody. But I mean, honestly, our communication is very, very good, and yeah.
That's good. And you've had that from the get go, and that's really cool. She's doing her own thing, kind of creating her own income, her own future as far as that goes. And the reason that's cool is because I think it brings another dynamic in that she may not understand exactly what you're doing, but she's doing her own thing. And in the same way that you probably don't understand every ins and outs, like y'all both get that it has to get done. And you both get that like the work doesn't just get cut off. You don't just get to put your phone on and be like, yeah, I'm done. There are times when you put family first and you make that time, but just because you're home and it's 6 o'clock on a Thursday doesn't mean that you can put your phone down and just give up and not text anybody back. And so that's good to know. And it's good for you. Like, it's good for you because honestly, it might be more, she might be more worse off because like buyer's agents are like crazy. Like they're running around they're showing houses all times of the day. Like, meeting after people get off work. So like, I bet she's had some pretty late showings and stuff, right? Like 6:30, 7.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it got to a point where, we would be out on a dinner date and she would say, hey, I got a showing in 30 minutes, on the other side of town. I'm like, what? Like, she's like, oh yeah, that's the only time that they could do it. I got to get it done. And I'm like, all right, hey, I understand. But, things like that kind of cooled down. She has some people that show houses for her now. But, yeah, I mean, at the beginning, she was all over the place. She would, get up super early, go show a house 45 minutes away, and then get back in the car and drive 45 minutes away because they want to see another house in a different city. And yeah, she's, like I said, she's a killer, man. There's no way I could do what she does. No way. And, I just sit and watch her and I'm so proud of her. And, but she also says the same thing about me. She's like, there's no way I could do what you do, like out in the heat all the time and coming home sweating and blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I guess we got it good, I guess.
Yeah. Good working relationship there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, dude, tell us a little bit about, before we wrap this thing up. I don't want to hold you too late. I want to be respectful of your time. Tell us a little bit about what the day-to-day is, man. What's going on in Blumling Lawn Care?
Yeah, so it's just me and another guy that's full time. We're mowing 4 days a week. Um, and then Monday we're doing landscaping jobs. And then I got depending in the summertime, I got a guy that helps, 2 or 3 times a week for landscaping help and mowing help if needed, if we get behind. But other than that, we got 1 or 2 guys that's part time that can, take the other truck and dump trailer out and do some landscaping jobs for, still a guy to get done in one day while we're mowing. So that's kind of what we've been pushing here lately. I know we had a coaching call yesterday or whatever it was, but that's kind of where the direction was going towards was, while I'm mowing, I need to get someone else that's doing some landscaping or get somebody to take my spot. And me take the landscaping to the next level. And right now, like I said, it's just me and another guy full time, and we're killing it. We're working, crazy hours right now. Try not to work Saturdays, but with the rain that we've been getting lately, we've been having to, and it's like spring all over again.
Yeah, we've had a very wet summer up until this point. I think we're in a dry spell. I think we're going to stay dry for the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. Probably going to get us into fall pretty good, where leaves are going to start falling. It's going to be a very dusty start to fall, I'm afraid. It's going to be very, very dusty, sucking up or mulching up leaves and things. It's going to be messy. But it's good to – I'm glad we got the rain up to this point. It's got us through the year pretty well. So it's always tough to deal with it when it is raining, but it's better than a drought. I would much rather – I have no problem. Like, it's annoying, but I have no problem telling a customer, hey, we couldn't cut the yard today because it's a swamp. Like, you don't want me to tear up your yard, so I'm not. And like most of the time, customers understand that, whereas they're not as understanding when other circumstances arise. If your mower just breaks down or something like that, they don't really understand. So the rain is something that I can deal with, I can battle, and hey, it keeps things growing. So I'm not too mad about it, but. That's awesome, man. And you're at a pivotal point where you're kind of like trying to add that third person to the team, the second employee, full time or something like that. I mean, have you kind of thought about where you want to be in the next 2 to 3 years? If you don't mind sharing, like, where do you want the business to go? Kind of, what's your big vision? Maybe 5 years. What's your big vision for the company?
Yeah. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind having 2 mow crews, and then probably a landscaping crew.
Yeah.
Whether that's me on, helping out a mow crew or helping out a landscaping crew or just floating, a couple, 1 or 2 days a week, and then doing quotes, meeting with customers, marketing. I mean, it's a lot to do. It's a lot to do right now with me full time in the, the labor, also doing everything else, keeping up on emails, keeping up on quotes, phone calls, maintenance, all that stuff. So next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I definitely see myself out of the labor for the most part, just trying to delegate as much as possible. And I like the phrase, if you want to get it done fast, do it yourself. But if you want to go far, get a team around you. And I haven't honestly been using that advice, but I hear it every day almost, it seems like. But I just need to keep reminding myself to, it's okay to delegate and put people around you and, go farther. So
Yeah.
that's where I see myself, honestly.
Well, there's seasons of life where you do have to kind of take the reins and just run with it yourself, put in the hours, put in the work. But yeah, I think you're at a good point where you're going to start seeing some big moves, some big things change. That's fantastic to hear, man. I'm excited for you there. I think it's going to be a bright future for the business. I think it's going to go a long way. I don't know. I was about to say something, but I don't remember what it was going to be. But anyway, man, is there anything we left out and anything that you want to share with the audience that maybe we skipped over or that you're feeling kind of on your heart tonight?
I mean, I I just go by, learning every day. I guess if you were to ask me like something more advice, just learn every day. And then also, I mean, I always keep saying it, but just take action on that. Learn something from somebody, discern what you heard, make sure that what you heard is correct, and then take action on that. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself every day. I remind myself, today about that. Don't do it tomorrow, do it now. Not being, lazy about things. Don't procrastinate. Staying consistent, no excuses. And yeah, man. I just think entrepreneurship is a blessing, that God put in my life. And I have a giving heart. I love to see my full-time employee, his name is Brody. I ask him every paycheck, hey, you saving cash, from the big checks he's been getting. He's like, yeah, man, yeah. And it just makes me smile that, I'm able to give him an opportunity to be financially great and being able to save money. It makes me smile to hear that. So,
yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, it's been so long since we've done a guest interview. I almost forgot about this, but I hadn't asked in a while. But we do try to ask every guest the same question. It's always a different answer. It could be the same answer, but it always means something different. It's not too simple, but it can be complex. It's not complex, but it can be simple. It can be complex. Might be simple. I don't know. You get the gist of what I'm saying. What is your why?
My why is my family, man. I just want to leave a legacy. And that's why, I went with Blumling Lawncare. I want my kids to know that, their dad did everything possible, and I'm grinding for my family. I'm grinding for them, grinding for, employees that I don't even have yet. And I just want them to know that, they can do anything. It sounds cliche, but they really can do anything. And you don't have to go to school, college to get, the best jobs. I didn't go to college. And I could argue that I know, just as much, if not more, about marketing, sales, as a four-year degree, if, in continually learning. So, yeah, I mean, my why is my future employees and my employee now that get kids, that have kids one day and able to put, presents under the tree for Christmas, being able to provide that and say that, they work for Blumling Lawn Care and they are able to bless their children with gifts. That is my why. That is why I do what I do, is for, to be able to give. And that's why I feel like God has put on my heart. So.
I love it, man. I love it. I love the taking action side. I love the giving side. Everything about it is just fantastic. It sounds like you got a good company going up there in Indiana, and hopefully maybe we'll get out there to see it one day. I'd love to see it in action. Might make a trip out that way at some point. And if we get into more YouTube or something down the road, maybe do some in-person podcasts. So who knows what we get into. But that is going to wrap this one up, dude. That is, unless you got something that we've missed.
No, I mean, if you have any questions or want to talk, anyone listening, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Blumling Lawn Care. Give me shoot me a DM, talk to me, whatever. If you need some advice or just want to talk, I'm here. So.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That you beat me to it. That's where I was going next. So you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Jeremiah. I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's so great getting to be around like-minded people who are trying to grow their businesses, change their lives, help other people out there, and give back to their community all in the same breath. So that is just fantastic. Guys, if you're going to Equip, use code GG50, save you 50% there. September the 7th is when early bird registration ends. We look forward to seeing everyone in Louisville. It's going to be a fantastic time. It's crazy. We're like a month and a half away, a little less than a month and a half probably. So it flies. It's always like it flies up like crazy. Summer flies by, and so we would love to see everybody there. And then you got LAL coming up November the 11th in Novi, Michigan. That's a awesome event that you don't want to miss as well, where everyone gets to come hang out, network, have a good time in frigid Michigan on a Saturday. So it is a good time, though. It's a very good time. There's a lot of net worth up on that stage, a lot of value that you can get for a very, 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 very marginal ticket price. So that is what I've got to announce, man. I think that's it. I appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us this evening.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing this tonight.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. I hope it helped you. If you're listening in real time, go out, have a great weekend, and we hope to catch up with you here on a Marriage Monday on the next episode. See you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.